Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge. So what I'm doing this morning is on the top of the firewall, where the front part of the firewall meets and the top of the firewall meets, TIG welding the seam all the way across. And I want to say thanks to Peter Barstow. I was reading your comments yesterday, brother. And he's in jolly old England is what he calls it. But Peter Barstow was asking about, how are you going to keep water from going in there and whatever. And I'll flip the camera around and show you what I'm doing. But I want to say hi to Peter Barstow and my other buddies in England, which is DG Retro Customs on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked him out, go check his channel out. He's awesome. And so is Ralphie at Ralphie's Customs on YouTube. They both got really good channels. And so anyways, I was telling Peter Barstow, he was asking about how, is the water going to go down below that firewall at the top part of the firewall. And then, like I said, I'll flip the camera on and show you what I'm talking about. So right here, what I'm doing is this piece comes up here and you can see the big gap. There's a big gap right here. And you see right here where I've been hammering. I'm hammering along this gap and bringing this firewall in so that it meets this gap here. And then TIG welding all along that gap. And I'm gonna fill that whole thing. I'll hammer it, weld it all the way across. And then you can see where we skimmed it with body filler. I'm just grinding that back a little bit. There's a light coat of body filler on there, but I don't want it to burn and crack and chip and whatever. So you see how it's brown right here. I'll just grind that back a little bit, and and then none of this has been blocked or nothing like that. So, but anyways, so when we're done, or when I'm done, that weld, I'll just take and grind it, right around that edge. And that'll be a full weld right there. And then once that gets primered, because this is bare metal, once that gets primered and epoxy or whatever, it'll keep it from rusting and everything else, and then keep the water out of the inside of the cab area. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep welding on this. It's been so hot lately. The weather outside is just really smoldering, humid hot, and the fires in Canada have been pushing all that smoke down here. So outside is just absolutely ridiculous. Makes it hard to breathe, Crazy outside. Guess I don't need those. Shocked me. My hands are all sweaty, so zap me on that one. And all I'm doing is dabbing some, I'm taking the filler rod and dabbing it in there and just smoothing it out real easy. I'm using low heat, just enough to melt the filler rod, and I blast it with a bunch of heat with my foot pedal. And then kind of flow it into the hole. And then as I'm going along, I'll hammer it out. The other thing too is when you're TIG welding, you want to make sure that it's really clean. The area is nice and cleaned off, just like when you're MIG welding. And then some of it I'm not using filler rod, I'm just using fusion welding, where I'm just using the end of the tungsten to dab it around and move the puddle around where I want it, and then I come back through and I add a little bit of filler and kind of flow it and smooth it out, you know. Just so it makes it nice and smooth for the transition. It's getting a little hot here, so the next thing I'm gonna do is just walk this, where the heat is, I'm gonna use that heat. I'm using the heat to bend the part that's on the front part of the firewall around that edge. And then I'm just taking that heat and hammering, you know, along the edge of it with the hammer so that the heat is letting it just flow, you know, smooth it out real easy. And then all that's doing is just taking that piece that's straight up and down and it's bending it right around that edge of the top part of the firewall. And then I'll just keep welding, adding some spot welds and move on. Hammer it, spot weld it, hammer it, spot weld it. Keep doing the same thing. Now I'm going to go to the opposite side so I don't have too much heat going back and forth. So I don't sit in one spot too long and I don't warp it. What I'm doing is I'm going here and welding, and then I'm coming over here and welding, and then going over there and welding, and then just walking it back and forth until it's done, you know. It's very time consuming, but the result will be nice when it's done. I got to move this tungsten is in too far. I got my tungsten, I stuck it, dabbed it in the metal, or in the filler rod a little while ago, so I gotta go sharpen it too, so it kind of started to weld like crap. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sharpen this tungsten, it's like dead. I stuck it right in the weld. Give me just a second. You can see what I'm talking about. Focus. It's all screwed up, so I'm gonna have to go sharpen this tungsten real quick. So one of the problems was I wasn't paying attention earlier. Go away. I wasn't paying attention earlier, and I turned the fan on above me. Well, what was happening is my weld started looking crappy, and I'm like, what the hell, what happened? I thought maybe it was the tungsten or, you know, some impurities in there or something, and I realized it was the fan was blowing so hard, it was blowing all my gas away from the weld, so it was screwing up the weld. So I got the fan turned down now, so it's helping a lot. But this, I'll show you guys a quick tech tip. Take, instead of sitting there trying to sharpen your tungsten, a lot of people have sharpeners, but all I use is a grinder and a belt sander, and that's what this is set up over here for. Well, not just for that, but you know, for other jobs. Just make sure you're in focus. No, wrong side, dummy. There. And then what I do, put safety glasses on, don't be a dumbass. I grab a drill. Turn on your grinder and smooth out your tungsten. And then after that I go over to the belt sander. Easy peasy, nice and sharp. Just makes it quicker, you know? A lot faster when you go and do it like that so that you can smooth it out real fast or get a nice point on it real fast. Instead of sitting there, you know, spinning it with your fingers and whatever. One of the tricks though is when you're doing it, make sure you're holding it way above the grinder, because if not, if you're like this, it starts chattering that tungsten real bad. You don't want that. It'll rip it right out of your hands. So just be careful with that. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna cut this video short today because I have so much going on. I'm trying to get that firewall welded, and I want to get the door edges done, and I'd really like to get my taillight housing done in the back. So I'm gonna keep working on the car. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you later.